Okay, so I am just in the process of trying to sort out the initial track layout. Now, I did use track planning software initially. I use an Apple Macintosh, so I'm quite limited on the software available. And I tried and tried and tried, but I just couldn't get on with it because the only thing I could actually use was set track. Now I'm using flexi track, and there was like flexi track stuff, but I couldn't get the bloody stuff to bend in the right way or go where I wanted it to do, and it was all weird. So I sort of thought, well, what I'll do is when I physically get the track, I can start messing about with it actually on the layout to get all this bit done. Because I'm still using the track planning software, you know what I mean, to sort of have a look at how like points can fit and what have you. But at the moment, I'm just using what I've got, and I'm just trying to build the first sort of in my mind and on the physical board how to go about using it. As you can see, I've split the layout up. So I've taken the lower board, which is the one that I'm going to want to concentrate on first, and it's a 4 foot by 4 foot board. I worry about connecting it all up afterwards, but I thought if I get this down, then psychologically I've conquered a battle, and and I've made a start. So, like I say, I'm just working with what I've got. I've got some set track that I'm just using to connect things up to make them straight. Obviously, the straights and curves and stuff will be put down in flexi track eventually, but I'm just using the set track as a sort of template to sort of see where things go. So let's have a look at where we are and what the plan is. Okay, so down here, this is the cassette line. So this will come across, and I'm going to fit a cassette mounting plate to mount trains from. I was going to have the cassette coming off here, but I don't have enough room between this end and that wall over there. Well, I'll probably do, but I'd rather just build it so I can actually I'll be operating the layout from this side. So I thought the cassette loader is here. So anyway, we come onto the layout here. Now this rail goes along, and a train will come loaded on this way, and it will go along this rail here, and then I can choose to send it back across this point here up onto this main line of the layout. Yeah, obviously I can send trains down here off this onto this loading onto this loading track along, and then reverse them back off onto the cassette. Yeah. If you follow it round, so obviously this is lines going up, so I'm going to call this the up line. So that's actually that will be the up, main up through the layout. If I follow this line around, I can go around this corner here. Okay, onto that point, I'll probably have a crossover. So one of those there, yeah. So I can then cross over onto the down line, yeah. So I'm still debating all of this at the moment. And then this extra bit of track that will go up, I'll run it all the way up to the far end of the layout, which I can store trains on, or whatever. I can just leave a train stored on there or something. I don't know yet. I might actually just have another spur off at the top, right at the top, just to store another train on. I don't know yet. I haven't crossed that bridge, as they say. So that's the actual loading mechanism. Now down here, I'm just checking the distance. This, I don't know whether you can see it, this blue line here, this is a 21-inch radius curve, which is about the largest feasible curve I can get. So this is a 21-inch radius, and it goes round. At the moment, it comes in onto this main. So this is the outer main line, coming round, following that. The next one in will be an 18-inch radius. So like I say, I'm just working out platforms and things So we've got an 18-inch radius then I've got a 15-inch radius here. Now I don't want to go any smaller than 15 inches on this end, although I might actually stick another 15-inch radius about there to bring up a train. So this is going to be a station. Obviously this is my main line station, and this is the bit that I'm going to concentrate on first, because it solves the problem of loading the trains onto the layout, and where I can start everything off on this board, because this lower board and that top board over there, if you imagine, it's basically a big, that's the biggest board. It's 4 foot by 8 foot, and this will be the main layout. That other board that spurs off there, that's going to be the high area with quarry and canal and all that sort of stuff. That's a separate. That's where the branch line will go to, and a branch line will come from there on a raised section around the back, come down onto this board here at about that height and about this position, and come round to a platform sort of here with the town on this side where I'm standing now, so that it'll go over, and this will be the main access to the station, with a delivery office, parcel office, or whatever, sidings or whatever industry thing in the middle. That's as far as I've got at the moment. I want to get all this right first, because I've got to drill all the holes and stuff for the electronics that are going under the board. Like the accessory controllers and point motors. Get everything right first. This bit here, I've worked out the circuit diagram and everything for this bit. This is the programming track. Okay, this track here will run up, and that'll be the main programming track. But I'm incorporating it into the layout. How I'm doing it is I have a switch, which will switch power. So I'll have main feed power, and there'll be two. When I switch it to the main DCC bus, from this point onwards will be electrified on the DCC bus. When I switch it to the programming bus, this section of track here will not receive any power whatsoever, so it'll be fully isolated, that section there. And then from this section onwards will be powered from the DCC programming bus, as it were, or programming line. So only from that section to that section, and it'll be totally isolated from the main by a whole couple of inches worth of track. So obviously I won't be using set track for this point. It will be a piece of flexi, and it'll just go up to the end, as it were. But I will have a section of it that's completely dead when you switch it on. So there'll be no possibility of a train coming down here and then jumping onto the main DCC bus, because the moment it hits this point, I think that's a long enough gap to stop the train. In fact, I might actually make it a 14cm gap, so it's like a full standard length. So I don't think there's any trains at end scale longer than 14 centimetres. I mean, so if I make it a carriage length, yeah, of dead track, then obviously loco would just stop at that point. It wouldn't go any further, and I think that's far enough. I mean, as a programming track goes. So that's where I am. That's where I am. This bit here, obviously, this is you come on to here. The point of this is just a bit of stuff to do, really. I'll have a head shunt up here and down here. The head shunt's got to be long enough to get a 45cm or 3-car DMU in. So I'll have to come up here and then come back down to park a DMU in there, and then here I'll just have another engine. I don't know yet. I'm just trying to get something in here, like a little sort of TMD, as it were, just for something to start modelling on at this side. I don't know yet. I haven't worked out bits and pieces. So yeah, I mean this point here will probably move forward, so I have got at least 50 centimeters from that point to the end to the buffer, so I can turn the DMU round down into there. Because the largest DMU I've got is the 3-car 101, which is what I'm basing it on. So there you go. That's where I am. Any hints and tips would be most welcome. Like I say, it's all new to me. I'm not in no way am I an expert, but I am enjoying it. It's fun. It's interesting. These, by the way, are fantastic. If you haven't got any of these and you're doing layout, you need to get some. They're brilliant. I mean, I've taken them off now but when I was thinking about stuff, I was using this to make sure that everything was separate and stuff. And I've tried it out on bits that you can't see when I was sort of experimenting. So yeah, it's coming on. I'm enjoying it. I think what I'm going to do as well is when I actually put the track down, I'm going to be blobbing PVA blobs rather than sticking the whole thing down, because I think if I want to get it back up again at some point, that'll make it a lot easier. Do you know what I mean? And I've got to make cork things and everything yet, so yeah, having fun. Oh, and this was good. I bought this as well. These are brilliant. These are re-railers. It's only £4, and absolutely brilliant. Love it. So there you go. Right, I think that's it. I don't think I've got anything else to say. So thanks for watching, and I'll give you an update when I started sticking stuff down and getting some power to it all. Okay, bye.